Hey everybody, it's Dusti Martin with Platinum Living Realty, dropping in to give you your monthly market update for the town of Paradise Valley. It is not all the doom and gloom that you might be seeing on the internet. So buckle up, hit subscribe, grab a drink. We're going to just jump right into it. All right, so like I said, Paradise Valley, our active listings year to date are actually only up 2.9% over this time last year. Remember, in previous months and for other cities around Paradise Valley, I've been saying for a couple months, the big fish tend to leave the pond this time of year. They are just now starting to come back, and they usually take both their money as a buyer and their listings as a seller with them. So year to date, year over year, our listings are only up 2.9% over this time last year in Paradise Valley. Our sold listings, though, are down 13.8% over this time last year. This past month, we only had 25 sold listings. The year before, we had 29. So 4 less homes sold or went under contract. Part of that might have to do with just it's a very small fluctuation, but when you're dealing with a town that only has between 28 and 38 closings every month on average, you don't necessarily see lots of big shifts. But so even just a few listings can really change. But then again, also, we've seen interest rates go up in the last month or two quite a bit. We went from high 5s into the 6s. Now, in some scenarios, buyers are going to be paying the low 7s. But I think that also is going to weed out some buyers out of the luxury market who maybe could have afforded to get in at a lower rate and wouldn't have normally been able to qualify in this area for these price points. But keep in mind, when interest rates were so crazy low, who couldn't? What I would suggest, and I would just put a little pin in your cap on this and keep this tucked away, is there also might be some high-end buyers from the last 2 years that come to realize that just because they got a great rate on a home and they could afford the payment, they may realize that upkeeping a home in the millions is a lot more than they bargained for. So even if their monthly payment is working out, the size of the home may be too much for them to handle, and the amount of maintenance on a home that large might be a little more than they bargained for. So I would expect in the coming few years, as things begin to kind of be less crazy, that people really start to realize, hey, I thought I wanted this big house, but it's really too much for me to take care of, or I don't want to spend my weekends taking care of this, and I didn't really budget to have somebody else do it. So with that said, I would guess that there are going to be some buyers, not a lot, but some, that start to realize that maybe they shouldn't have bought that big luxury home in 2019, 2020, and 2021. Just a thought. Before we go any further, I just wanted to get that out of the way. That's my thought process going forward. Our median sale price is up, still quite high, but not as crazy as the last 2 years. Our median sale price per square foot is up 18.1% over this time last year, currently sitting at just over $566 a square foot. 18.1% is not the 50 and 60% increase that we were seeing last year. However, keep in mind, before this crazy run-up, 1% to 2% appreciation on average was normal nationwide. And then with the last 2 years adjusted nationally, we were looking at 2% to 4% appreciation now being considered normal. And when you're thinking about here in the Valley, normal is now somewhere between 3% and 5%. So when we're appreciating still at 18%, above what we were last year, that's still a really large increase, historically speaking. But then also keep in mind, also goes back to what I've been telling people, that we are going back into normal for us. And normal was not 2020, 2021 in the first half of 22. That was not normal. And what's happening now isn't normal. So we've almost kind of corrected, at least supply and demand wise, back down in most price points in the Valley back down to like 2018 or late 2019 before things got crazy. And so when you're looking at that appreciation, I remember making these videos in 2019 saying that is crazy, crazy appreciation. And I can remember in 2018, 2019, we went from, I think we had 15 to 18%. The year before was 9 to 11. The year before that was 7 to 9. And so we've had several years of really, really high appreciation. And so we kind of went up on a scale and then we shot up and now we're coming back down. And I would guess that we will hopefully normalize in our appreciation sometime over the next year or two. Then we want to look at our months of supply. Our months of supply, remember, our active listings were only up 2.9%. Our months of supply is up 19.3% over this time last year. We're currently sitting at 5.76, or basically 5 months and 3 weeks worth of inventory. We're about a week off of an even, stable market in Paradise Valley. I know it sounds scary, and every headline you see out there is like, oh, is the sky falling? Is it buyer's market? Is it seller's market? Well, the average is no, we're about back to just a normal, even, stable market that doesn't benefit buyers or sellers. And when I say it doesn't benefit, I don't mean nobody's benefiting. What I mean is that nobody's got the upper hand on the other. Things are more level, even playing field. So when I say even, stable market, that's what I'm talking about. And then our median days on market is actually jumped up 29.4% over this time last year. However, we are still sitting at only 44 days on market. This time last year, we were at 34 days on market, which is about 3 or 4 days longer than it takes to close a loan. So sitting here in Paradise Valley, which is essentially just a luxury market, let's call it what it is. When you're sitting at 44 days on market, that's nothing. That's 5 weeks, roughly, to get your home sold. If it is priced and marketed appropriately. So that's what you have to keep in mind. Going into this, you cannot be outpacing others in your neighborhood by 5, 10, 15%, or even 1%. To be honest, I would be pricing right in line with the comps, if not a little bit below, and making sure that your home really puts forward its best foot and makes its best first impression. So let's get over to the supply and demand by price point. This is a big deal if you're a buyer, because you need to know what you're really up against. You don't want to listen to things on the internet that say, oh, it's totally a buyer's market, or it's this. Because to be honest, some price points in some areas are still really hot sellers markets. But also, if you're a seller, you really need to be realistic with where you list your home and not give into some of the scare tactics that are happening in the marketplace right now that might part you with a little more of your money than you should. So like I said, months of supply overall, on average, we're at 5.76 months of supply. So almost 6 months, even Steven. We are going to jump all the way down to the $300,000 to $500,000 price range, because honestly, there are no listings and no data for anything below that, and haven't been for quite a while here in Paradise Valley. So $300,000 to $500,000, we're actually sitting at an even 1 month of inventory in Paradise Valley. That is a white hot seller's market. I don't care who you are or what you think you know. Numbers do not lie. 1 month of inventory is the type of inventory we've been seeing in 2020, 2021, and the early part of 2022 before interest rates shot up. So that 1 month of supply, if you are, and I have a feeling it's mostly just condos in that price range. If you are looking at that price range, like literally, we only had 2 homes and 2 sold and none, no more came on. There are no more, and so we're sitting at even stable 1 month of supply. Then we look at the $500,000 to $700,000 price range. We're at an even 4 months of supply. That's literally standing right on the line of what's defined as a seller's market. So you're probably not going to see repairs waived. You're probably not going to see appraisals waived. But like I said, be conscious, if you are a buyer, not to insult your seller by offering too low in that price range. If you're in the $700,000 to $1 million price range, you are at an even 0 months of supply, 0. And I don't mean like 0 months, I mean 0 days. That is a really hard price point to find anything in. We had no new listings in that price range come off the market. The 2 we did have sold, left us with a pure even 0. And that literally, you cannot get hotter than that when it comes to a seller's market. That is the type of environment we were seeing in the boom, I guess we could call it, or the craze. I prefer craze, in 2021. That's the kind of inventories you're looking at in that level in Paradise Valley. So keep that in mind as you go to market. Make sure you don't price astronomically higher, but at the same time, don't be giving anything up either. In the $1 to $3 million range here in Paradise Valley, we're actually in a pretty strong seller's market. We're at 3.18 months of supply, just over 3 months. If you've been watching this channel for very long, you know that anything 4 months or less is a seller's market. In that price range, I would expect probably 1, maybe 2 solid offers, somewhere between 97 and 99% of the list price if your home is priced and marketed appropriately. It may not be. That's a whole different ballgame. Then we want to look at the $3 million and over price range. This is what has the stark contrast to the rest of Paradise Valley. And remember, like I said on average, we're looking at almost a 6-month supply. But everything that I've been talking about has been like a seller's market. We're talking about the over $3 million price point in Paradise Valley. We're sitting at over 11 months worth of inventory, 11.33. That is a buyer's market, and a pretty strong one at that. So over the $3 million mark, which, to be honest, is now kind of like the bread and butter of Paradise Valley. That's where most of the homes are now listed at in Paradise Valley, because we've had such large gains the last few years. We just kind of shot up from $1 to $3 million being, where you started out, right around 900, $1 million. That was entry level. Now it's hard to find anything below 3 million. There's only 35 properties, right? So, but once you get over 3 million, there's 102. So you're in a much different ballpark. You're not even in the same game. You are in a different park altogether. And you are in a buyer's market, and buyers are going to be more aggressive. It's going to take a long time to sell your property. And so when you go to list, you really need to bring your A game, the best possible pricing you can do. And you better do those pre-appraisals and pre-inspections to make sure you know what you're dealing with, so there aren't any surprises when it comes time to actually list and sell your home. If you have any questions about what your home would sell for in today's market, or if you're looking to buy a home here in the Valley, go ahead and give me a call at 480-717-9405, or visit my website at dustimartinrealtor.com.